Damon Khan here for Seconds Out with the one and only. Remember the name, Jimmy Sains. Jimmy, how you doing, sir?
I'm all good, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
A pleasure to be speaking to yourself. A lot of buzz about yourself too. You made your debut. There's something I want to get a grip on first of all. Look, a lot of fighters are confident when they make the debut, but they hide the nerves sometimes. You've done it. You got out of the way. Were you nervous?
Do you know what? In the build-up, everything like the public weigh-in, press conference, everything, I just try and enjoy it and take it all in, which I think I did as well. Just enjoyed it. And warming up in the changing room, I just enjoyed it. But just before I was walking into the ring, I sort of said, like, my coach Tony said, "I'll meet you in the ring." They all went off that way, and I was standing there on my own, and it sort of sunk in a little bit. Like, right now, this is like serious. You know what I mean? I can't go back out of it now, and it sort of got a little bit nervous then. But then when I walked out, I was in the ring. To be honest, I was fine. Yeah, I was just trying to take it all in and enjoy it.
You definitely were fine. You got the first stoppage win in your debut. For some fighters, that's a bit of a thing. They want to get the first stoppage, want to get the first early win out the way and done. Was that a thing for you? Were you marking that to get that early?
Not really. I think if it come, it come. But when I was in there, I thought I hurt him a few times. Well, I know I hurt him a few times. He said to me after, he said that I did hurt him a few times. And I went for the stoppage a little bit, but I tried to force it a bit. I think if it comes, it comes. If not, it's not nothing to worry about. Still get the win. Make sure you get the win, and make sure you learn from it, which is most important, I think.
A lot of people are often critical of their own performances. Were you happy with what you were able to display on the night?
Uh, to be honest, I watched it back. I've probably watched it back about 10, 15 times now. Um, and I do think didn't really show half of
Hmm.
what boxing, or not even that, to be honest, of what I can actually do. Show some skills. I was just following around the ring too much, which is probably what a lot of people do on their debut, looking for that one shot knockout. But to be honest, I just got the first one out of the way, got a KO in the end. Well, the ref jumped in and weren't really a KO, but got the stoppage in the end. And that's the main thing, really. Now I can look to um, get on my boxing more in the next one.
Is there a piece of advice that sticks in your mind that you got from maybe someone within the gym or outside of boxing specifically that you took in with you to your professional debut?
Uh, Everyone in the gym. Obviously, I had George Liddell, Maisie Rose, and Jordan Thompson all on the same card for my first one, all
Hmm.
from the same stable. So it's great to all be together. They was all giving me little tips like just go out there, enjoy it, don't be nervous. They was all helping me. Yeah, so they was all helping me, giving me tips throughout it. To be honest, so I'm privileged to have them with me.
Now, you've mentioned in other interviews, I think it was that you're someone who wants to go the traditional route, which is music to boxing fans' ears, because often that's kind of, people kind of choose to go different routes, and that's okay as well too. But why specifically do you want to go that route?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely want to win every belt up, even from the southern area all the way up to English, all the way up to obviously world level. I just think that's the right way to do it. To be honest, I don't want to be jumping up to fights when I'm not ready. I want to tick off each box all the way up, and I think I can learn from each part, and each belt and each stage of my career doing that moving forward. Yeah. Also, I want to take my time. I don't want to just jump up to world level when I'm not ready, or European level when I'm not ready, and then come unstuck and then having to come back and having two or three learning fights. Do you know what I mean? I'd rather take my time first on the way up. That's something that I'd always want to do. And I think Tony, my coach, he said that's what he wants to do as well. I think that's what he's done with a lot of his fighters as well.
Very
In
good attitude.
previously.
Oh, sorry to interrupt. Very good attitude to have there, Jimmy. Just wanted to ask you as well, just in terms of people who haven't seen you in the ring before, and in terms of your amateur accomplishments as well. What fighters do you feel you're like, or what fighters do you feel you take influences from?
Well, growing up, I always used to watch Roberto Duran. He was always my favourite. But I've been watching a lot of Kelly Pavlik. Tony told me to watch him, work on the jab. Like I've tried to base my style around off him. I watch a lot of Canelo. I've seen all his fights. I love Canelo. I try to pick a little bit off everyone. I don't try and say this is a fight I've got to be exactly like him. I try and pick, even if I go to the gym, watch Joe Cordina, John Ryder and people inspiring. I try and take little bits of each what they do and use it in my own game.
Did you speak to John about him fighting Canelo?
Yeah, I spoke to John. Yeah. He done really well against Canelo. I mean, to go the distance in Mexico as well. And after, I think John was a bit gutted because he obviously broke his nose in the second round,
Yeah.
and he said he felt it very difficult to breathe. He couldn't really go again. Um, I think if he could go again, and he had, I know it's easy to say now, but I feel like he could have got to Canelo. He definitely showed some vulnerabilities there. But it was a great fight. Yeah.
When you say you watch Canelo, what are the things you're looking to pick up from him? What are the things that you notice that you've added to or trying to add to your game?
I just think little things where you obviously think like Canelo's just throwing a jab, but he's setting other stuff up. He's setting other stuff to see what reactions the fighter's doing. He's planning it for rounds ahead, what shots he's going to throw, where the openings are. He usually throws the uppercut and then turns it into a hook, or the hook and then turns it into an uppercut. Just little things where you're setting up stuff for the later rounds, openings, and to get where the main power shots are.
Good inspiration to have. I wonder what is your inspiration just outside the ring heading into it? A lot of fighters kind of say, all sorts of things in terms of why they get into boxing, but in your own words, what is it that inspires you to succeed in the ring?
Well, to be honest, boxing is the only thing I know. I started when I was 6 years old. I started really young, and I've enjoyed it ever since I started. To be honest, it's just always what I wanted to do. Always when you're at school, they ask you what you want to do, what you want to be when you're older. Always just said boxing. That was my main thing. I didn't really have a backup. Didn't really want to do anything else. Um, but to be honest, I'm just really self motivated. That's what I want to do. I enjoy it, and that's I think something that I'm quite good at. Well, I could potentially be good at.
Do your family come to your fights as well too?
Yeah, my dad and brother, girlfriend, they're at all my fights, and my mum as well. But my mum and my girlfriend, they come, but they don't actually really watch too much. They don't really like it, which is understandable. Yeah, but all my family, they're all my fights, my uncles, everything. Yeah, they love it.
When you say they don't like it, why is it?
I just think my mum said as soon as they took my head guards off at 18, she just said she's not nice to watch. Yeah, she don't really like watching.
No, fair enough. I get it.
Yeah, I
Just a
get it.
couple things away from yourself to get your thoughts on, and I'll let you go. You're
Got
22, right?
Yep,
You
22 now. Yeah.
you'll be good to get a bit of a idea on this because you're obviously from the younger generation than myself. But this misfit stuff is coming through. I wonder what you make of it because maybe you watched a few of those guys when you were growing up, and now they're fighting. Are you for it? Are you against it? What's your take on it?
To be honest, I'm not really for or against it. I'm sort of neutral. But to be honest, I haven't watched any of them fights. Never really watched Tommy Fury or KSI box before. It's not really something I'm interested in. But I can see it's getting a bigger audience for boxing. Obviously, like YouTube, their subscribers watching boxing, but I'm not sure if they're watching the right boxing. Do you know what I mean? They might just be watching the KSI and Fury fight, and then that's it. They won't be watching. They won't be tuning in next week to like Catchall and Linares the week after. So I think it's good for attention for the sport, get people talking about the sport, but I don't think they're talking about the right fighters. Obviously, YouTubers are not on the right. They think they're pro fighters, but I don't think they are really. If they come box a real, even a British level fight, I think they'll come unstuck. It's just a shame that they can't bring that much attention to the actual boxers, great fighters, and that much money. But listen, if I was in their position, I'd be doing the exact same thing. Can't can't take that away from them. If they're got in that position to earn that sort of money, then I'll be doing the same thing. Yeah, can't take that away from them.
Your gym mate Conor Ben returned to the ring, and there's a lot of talk about this Chris Eubank Jr. fight. Do you feel that if the two do meet, that Ben does have the edge over Chris now?
Uh, Definitely. Yeah, I think obviously size is the only thing that I think Conor Ben has disadvantage in, but everything else, boxing, his power, I think he'll take out Eubank definitely.
Are you watching Fury versus Ngannou this weekend?
To be honest, I won't be. No. Um, I think obviously that's an easy fight for Fury. I'm a bit disappointed he didn't make the Usyk fight. To be honest, I feel like he could have made the Usyk fight then maybe an AJ fight, and then go into a type of fight like this, similar to what Floyd Mayweather did. His career was definitely over. Then went into like boxing YouTubers. I feel like he could have had 2 or 3 big fights, but I've seen him say he wants to set up his children and grandchildren for life, future generations, which I can't blame him for, to be honest. That's something probably what I would do as well. But yeah, I can't blame him for doing that.
11th of November, your second outing in the professional ranks. What are you looking to show people who are going to be tuning in to watch yourself, watch the card? What are you looking to show that you maybe didn't show in your in your debut?
To be honest, in the first one, I thought like I rushed it a bit, trying to force the stoppage. Well, I'd hurt him a few times, and the opponent sort of went into a like defensive shell. This time, I want to just go out there and take my time more. I've got more rounds, obviously, an extra round doing 4-rounder than the amateurs where it's rushed. I want to take my time more, show more of my boxing ability this time.
And Jimmy, activity is key for all boxers, and you'll be getting that, I guess, with the second fight of your career so far this year, maybe even a third one potentially. But looking forward to 2024, how active do you want to be? How many fights do you want to have?
Yeah, definitely. I think next year I want to have 4 to 5 fights next year. Definitely try and be as active as I can. But also, I want to make sure that I'm not just banging all the fights out. I'm not learning anything. I want to be taking each fight at a time after the camp, looking at the fight, and then seeing going into the next camp, seeing what I need to work on and little things from the fight before. I don't want to just be rushing them all out. I'm not learning. I think the main thing is I'm taking stuff from each fight, which is most important.
Jimmy, it sounds like you got a good head on your shoulders and a good attitude as well towards the fight game. It's been a pleasure speaking to you. Looking forward to seeing you in the ring. Have you got any social media presences that you'd like to shout out for people who want to follow your journey?
Just my Instagram, really, _ Jimmy Sains 1. Yeah, thanks a lot for having me on. I appreciate it, mate. Anytime, I'd love to come on.
No worries. Appreciate it. We'll catch up very soon, Jimmy. Thank you very much.